The T110E5 is an American Tier 10 heavy tank. It's a beautiful, stately vehicle with an interesting history. You probably either love it or just find it bewildering. One way or another, it won't leave you cold. It wasn't always like this, however. Once upon a time, there were three fearsome heavies in the world of tanks: Maus, the German Titan; IS-7, the Soviet Lunar Rover; and T-30, the American Mayhem machine. These armored knights dictated the structure of Tier 10 games for a long time. But one day, everything changed. The T-30 was deprived of its crown and turned into a Tier 9 tank destroyer. The T110E5 that took its place was a different sort of machine, and it didn't conform to the stereotypes. The player community boiled over with indignation. Only 400 damages per shot instead of an average of 750? The outrage started to die down after a few days when the players realized what a versatile vehicle they'd been given. This was a warrior who could be relied on in every fight. These are the top-tier heavy tanks of the original nations in the game: the fast AMX-50B from France, the giant German Maus, and the beautiful Soviet IS-7. They are preparing for a mission with the codename The Expendables. The leader will be the American T110E5. The main objective: infiltrate the enemy base and destroy their leader. The secondary objective: conduct reconnaissance and sweep the area clear. The tanks roll into position. The designers of the T110E5 wanted it to be able to pass through tunnels, so they made it very compact. It's the smallest Tier 10 heavy tank. Even Patton, the medium tank, is larger. And it's not just the size. The T110E5 is also quite light. This gives the small American commando a nice top speed of 37 kilometers an hour and excellent maneuverability. The tank can get to important tactical positions quickly, and it's hard to hit because of its low silhouette. The French heavy is faster, but several shells have already punched through its cardboard armor. The T110E5 is not afraid of being outmaneuvered. Both the turret and the hull turn quickly and punish reckless opponents for their mistakes. The French Huntsman is almost to the first fortification, and the T110E5 and IS-7 are catching up. The German Mountain is trundling along behind them. The AMX-50B takes the point for scouting, but as often the case with fast French vehicles, it blows up after taking a hit from an HE shell. There's an ambush ahead, and the squad prepares to take revenge for their fallen comrade. The glacis of the T110E5 is extremely strong. It's a solid piece of cast steel without any joints and junctures, with an impenetrable belt that is 254mm thick. The upper part of the front is set at an angle which greatly increased the effective thickness and could probably take a hit from Thor's hammer. Enemy shells like nothing better than bouncing off the nose of a T110E5. The lower glacis plate is more vulnerable, with a thickness of only 140mm. This is not its only weak spot. The sides and rear are not well armored. Let's be brutally honest. There is virtually no armor at all back there. Enemy shells can easily reach the ammo rack, and they blow it up all too often. Sometimes it feels like the T110E5 is just an ammo rack on tracks. The only way to stay safe is to find cover, and more cover. If you don't expose yourself, you will survive. It's as simple as that. A very pleasant feature of the tank is how good it is for side scraping. You just need to remember that the hull behind the tracks has a tricky shape. The T110E5 needs to roll out of cover at the correct angle and expose its side to the enemy. There's the shot. The shell passes through the track and loses some of its penetrating power. Then it hits the main armor, set at an angle. There aren't many guns which can penetrate the T110E5 from this kind of angle. For example, the Object 263 and IS-7 with their 130mm guns can't do it at all, no matter how hard they try. However, the ISU-152 is 2 tiers lower, but it can penetrate the T110E5's armor. What's the secret? The answer lies in the 2 caliber rule. If the gun's caliber is more than 2 times higher than the thickness of the armor, the normalization angle will also be higher. This makes it easier for the shells to penetrate the armor. The side armor of the T110E5 is 76mm thick, so it can't withstand opponents armed with guns of a caliber higher than 152mm. Well, it can, but not for long. The American also has a good turret. It's not as sturdy as the one on the IS-7, but its streamlined shape and sturdy front section can make enemy shells ricochet or fail to penetrate. However, there's an unfortunate feature to it. The T110E5 is a bit of a dandy, and it always wants to look stylish. Just look at the elegant cowboy hat on its turret. A helmet would make more sense, but the Americans have gone for the Clint Eastwood look. And you can't back out of a duel when you wear a hat like that. The tanks roll into position. Tension is mounting. It feels like the air is getting thick, and time is standing still. The T110E5 gets lucky this time, but the commander's hat should be looked after like something precious. A good way to do this is making the hull dance. The American moves the hull masterfully while traversing the turret back and forth. Dazzled by these brilliant moves, the opponents waste a lot of time and shells before finally taking careful aim. In the meanwhile, you can retreat back into cover and hide the left side of the tank to protect your commander. One last obstacle remains for the heroes. The T110E5 and IS-7 dash forward. The mouse does its best to dash as well, but only manages a slow walk. After just a few meters, they come under heavy artillery bombardment. The American dashes forward, keeping its speed up, while the IS-7 lags behind. Moments later, it's blown up by an accurate shot from the enemy artillery. The T110E5 is left with just the slow mouse for an ally, and it rushes to punish the artillery. The T110E5 has an excellent gun, accurate and quick firing. It's also accurate on the move, aims fast, and can hit targets at a long distance. The American Heavy has good gun elevation and depression as well, so it's well designed to fight in hilly terrain. Its lower glacis is covered, and trading fire with the enemy becomes much safer. The armor penetration value of 258mm and a high rate of fire make the T110E5 a versatile destroyer. It puts out around 2,500 damages per minute, which should make it victorious in a duel, assuming all the shells penetrate the armor, of course. The T110E5 is confident in dealing with the opponents, but its HP is low. Never drop your guard, and never underestimate the cunning of your enemies, not even when victory is in sight. The T110E5 is a balanced, versatile warrior, capable of taking on any opponent. It is ready for the final battle to the death. But that's a story for another day. Follow the link to learn more about this vehicle.